It was minus 70 degrees Celsius. I could feel my lungs freezing every time I breathed. I wasn't supposed to survive that night, and neither was my herd. When the goats started screaming, I knew it wasn't the cold anymore. Something was watching us. From the dark, I found the tracks in the snow. Too big, too quiet. A snow leopard, no phone signal, no help coming. Just me, 30 animals, and a predator that hadn't eaten in days. If I ran, I'd lose everything. If I stayed, I might not make it through the night, so I made a choice, and when the silence broke, I realized this wasn't just about survival anymore. Asterisk, asterisk, don't blink. One mistake out here means you don't get a second chance. Asterisk, the wind still moves. The snow still cuts the skin, but the world no longer carries noise the way it should. Everything feels distant, muted like the land itself is holding its breath. Ariuna knew this cold well. She had been born into it, raised inside it, learned to survive because of it. At 36, she lived alone for most of the year on the northern edge of the steppe, where the mountains rose sharply and the snow never truly left. Her herd 34 goats and 9 sheep was her entire livelihood. No animals meant no food, no trade, no future. That morning, the cold had already claimed 2 goats. She found them stiff near the rock wall, eyes open, bodies curved as if they had tried to curl away from the wind. Frost had sealed their lashes together. She didn't cry. Crying wasted heat. Instead, she marked the loss in her mind and dragged the bodies closer to the shelter, knowing their meat might still be usable if frozen clean. The tracks appeared just before noon. Large, rounded, to clean, to belong to a wolf. Ariuna crouched, brushing snow aside with her gloved hand. The pad marks were deep, confident. The tail drag was faint but unmistakable. Her chest tightened. Snow leopard. They rarely came this low in winter, but starvation changed patterns. A snow leopard could kill silently, efficiently, and disappear without a trace. Against her wooden fence and thin shelter walls, her herd was defenseless. She counted the distance between tracks. The animal had circled once, observed, tested. It was not gone by mid-afternoon. The sky turned the dull gray that meant more snow was coming. Visibility dropped fast. Ariuna reinforced the shelter with scrap metal sheets, old sled runners, anything that could make noise if struck. She moved the weakest animals inside the innermost pen, her hands burning despite the layers. At dusk, the wind died suddenly. That silence was worse than the storm. She loaded her old flare gun and placed it near the door. Her rifle was too slow at night. She knew this animal hunted in shadows. When the goats began to panic, she didn't need to see it. Something was watching them from the dark. Asterisk, the first scream came from a goat at the far end of the pen. It wasn't loud, just a sharp, sudden cry that cut straight through the silence. The herd surged inward, bodies pressing together. Hooves slipping on frozen ground. Ariuna was already moving. The cold, slamming into her lungs so hard she nearly collapsed. Frost formed instantly on her eyelashes. She scanned the perimeter dot. Then she saw it. The snow leopard stood on a low ridge no more than 30 meters away, its body pale against the snow, eyes reflecting faint light like embers. It was larger than she expected, longer, heavier, ribs visible beneath its thick winter. Coat, hungry, desperate. It didn't run when she shouted. That frightened her more than anything. She fired the flare, the red light exploded into the sky, hissing, bathing the snow in blood-colored glow. The leopard recoiled, stepping back, but only briefly. It did not flee. Instead, it lowered itself, tail twitching slowly. The animal was calculating. Ariuna backed toward the shelter, never turning her back. She knew if she slipped, if she fell, the leopard would be on her before she could scream. Her breath burned. The cold clawed through her boots, into her bones. Minutes stretched like hours. The leopard advanced. She fired the second flare directly into the snow in front of it. Sparks flew. The animal snarled a low, vibrating sound she felt more than heard. It leaped sideways, vanishing into the storm. She didn't relax. Snow leopards don't attack once. They wait all night. Ariuna stayed awake, feeding the stove, pacing, listening. At one point, something struck the outer wall hard enough to shake the beams. The animals cried out. She slammed a metal pan against the door until her arms ached by morning. The storm had passed. She stepped outside slowly, rifle ready. Blood stained the snow near the fence. One sheep lay dead, neck broken cleanly. Drag marks led toward the rock's butt, stopped abruptly. The leopard had abandoned a kill that had meant one thing: it would return. Eriuna had a choice. She could pack what she could carry, drive the herd south, risk losing animals to exposure and exhaustion. Or she could stay and defend what was left. Knowing the predator now understood her patterns, she chose to stay. She reinforced the fence with firewood, metal scraps, even frozen manure, blocks anything that could slow an attack. She moved the animals closer to the cabin, reducing blind spots. She conserved fuel, knowing rescue was days away at best. On the second night, the leopard came back. This time it moved fast. A goat screamed. Wood splintered. Eriuna fired her rifle into the air, not to kill, but to shock. The echo shattered the valley. She ran forward, screaming, waving burning cloth soaked in fuel. The leopard hesitated for a heartbeat. Woman and animal faced each other in the firelight. Then the leopard turned and fled, its energy spent. The risk too high, it never came back. 3 days later, a passing herder found Eriuna collapsed near the shelter. Frostbitten fingers wrapped around her rifle, the animals alive behind her. She survived with damaged hands and scars that would never fade. She lost animals, but she kept her herd in the mountains. Survival isn't about winning. It's about standing your ground long enough for life to continue. And sometimes, that is enough. If this story mattered to you, subscribe. Out here, survival stories don't get second chances.